Hey guys, this is Gene Jensen with BassResource.com. I often get asked, what is the best way to work a bait? What's the best way to work a fluke? What's the best way to work a worm? What's the best way to work a crankbait, a spinnerbait, and anything? I get asked that question quite often. And to be honest with you, there is no correct answer because you are trying to catch a live creature, okay? And they have their moods, and their moods change daily, and they change hourly, they change all the time, and that's part of the fishing. That's part of the lure of fishing for me, is figuring out the fish. What do they want? How do they want it? Take for instance this lipless crankbait. This is a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. There are so many different ways I can fish it, and I'm going to try them all until I find the way the bass want to eat it. You know, you can throw it out and just a steady retrieve, or you can burn it really fast, or you can reel it just normal and then twitch it, shake it, you can hop it, you can jump it up and down, you can do a whole bunch of things with it. But you got to do that. You try different things throughout your time fishing to try to figure out how the fish want it, okay? Once you've located the fish, once you have seen a fish following your bait or had a bite or things like that, that's when you start trying to figure out how they want it. You know, or you spent all day and you haven't caught any fish, but you know there's fish there. You know, change what you're doing. Change how you're dragging your worm, or how you're shaking it, or the speed in which you're moving things, or you know how it's moving. Just change something, and as you experiment with that throughout the day, you'll find. I mean, you'll probably, I can't say you'll find it every time, but you'll probably find the way the fish wants it the most, and you'll be able to catch more. For instance, you know, several years ago when I was first getting into fishing lipless crankbaits, the bass were in the grass, and the grass was about 8 feet deep, 8 to 12 feet deep, and it came up to about, the tops of it came up to about 5 feet. And if you just reeled through that grass and just, you know, normal reeling just like that, you wouldn't get bit. But I found out that is, you know, this will tell you how long ago this was. It was before the 7-to-1 gear ratio reels came out. I'd be throwing my 6-3-to-1 out in the grass, let it sink down 4 or 5 feet, hold my rod tip up really high, and reeling it just like this, as fast as I could turn a reel. And that was the only way I could get bit. So, I mean, you just never know. It's how the bass want it, how the fish want it, you know. It just depends. So experiment. That's what fishing is. There is no magic bullet. There is no exact way to do things at every time. You've got to experiment. You've got to figure out what mood those bass are in and how they want it. And by experience, by getting out on the water, you'll be able to do that faster and faster each time you fish. Well, like I always say, visit BassResource.com for the answer to all your questions about bass fishing, and have a great day.